I have been watching a fair number of model railway videos on various things. Mostly plans for wiring and Larry Puckett, the DCC guy, was... This week's video was about wiring for DCC and did give me a couple of pointers that I hadn't really considered. Not that technically it was going to be an issue, but yeah, it was something I hadn't really considered and probably should have. Mr. Everard Junction has redone his scrapyard a little because there's a whole lot of new 3D printed scrap things that can be used in a scrapyard, which he's acquired over the years. And as he pointed out in his video, yeah, I've been looking at this thing for 2 years now, and it's kind of time for a little bit of a change. And reverse the plough. Drive forward a little bit more so we don't tag the hedge. You know what? I think that's probably good enough. Field is definitely getting drier. Still registers as slightly damp, but we're definitely doing okay here. So this weekend is a holiday in the US, so I will be streaming on Monday, and hopefully, I think the plan is right now, I want to get the grass cut in November, because that's quite a big thing. And it's going to be our last opportunity. Now that might take a couple of days just because of inclement weather and muddy fields and all the rest of the problems that come with that. But hopefully by the end of November we'll have a silage clamp full of grass, chaff, and compacted and covered. And that's probably going to be next episode, or some of this possibly, because obviously it's October 4, it's the night, it's the evening. So as soon as I finish these two jobs, I really wanted to get the grass planted yesterday, or today, October, in that maize field. But we just ran out of time. That's going to be a lesson for us coming up in following years, that we must get the stuff done as soon as we can, because if we end up with weather like this, we're just going to run out of time to do things. As I said, the plan was to cover crop grass in field 77. That'll protect the soil from winter, and then come spring we should get one cut out of it at the same time as we cut the other field, and that should be the month that you plant maize for. Now I did screw up the maize harvest a little bit. I could have got the grass in a little bit sooner, but I waited till the maize was dry. I probably shouldn't have done. They should have gone with it when it's you can forage this now state. So we'll have to figure that out at some time later as well. I suppose it doesn't matter if I'm... Oh, actually... cruise control, that might matter. Grass. Grass can be planted in there. I had this nasty feeling all of a sudden that you had to plant grass in October. We can plant grass in November, so all is not lost quite yet. If I wanted to plant oilseed radish as a cover, that would be done now. Because I just don't have enough time tonight to do that. Oh, hush. Phone is complaining. Good grief. Yeah. Okay, what was I saying? Other things we can plant. See, we can plant wheat and barley. That was the other thing I have done in the past, is to plant barley early. You harvest it in July and then you plant the corn. Well, the corn plants in May here, so a mix barley, maize, silage wouldn't work on this farm or in this region. I think we did do that once, maybe twice, on Oakfield Farm in Farm Sim 19, and the weather, what's they called it there, the geo for Oakfield Farm was favourable to do that. We had a longer corn planting season, we had a longer or an earlier barley harvest season. You don't have to wait till it's ready to harvest. You have to wait until it's in the final stage of growth and can be foraged, which fixes that. So it is possible if you're doing a pure silage what's the word for it? If you're doing pure silage farming, then it's possible to do 2 crops in a year if you pick them right. I think we can do grass and maize here. I'm not 100% certain, so we're going to find that out come spring. If the grass is not ready, thing is with grass is you can cut it one stage early. You don't get as good a yield as if you let it fully grow, but it doesn't matter. We're just trying to get something out of the ground and into the silage pit. With maize we have 1 month, and it's going to be harvest the field on day 1, pretty much prepare the field on day 2, and get it seeded on day 3, and we have a spare day in case of weather issues or other unforeseen circumstances. So it's not a total rush. Obviously, if we did more fields in that method, we would have a timing issue. But I think for only 1 field at the moment, we should be able to survive that. I wonder how the other tractor's doing. It's not complaining about anything, so that's always a good sign. I'm going to turn around and jump down to it see what it's doing. It's churning up the ground quite nicely. We still have a long way to go. And hour and 24 minutes. I think that's real time, hour and 24 minutes. Which for us is going to be about 3 hours. 6 o'clock now. It's probably not going to be done till about 9 o'clock. Game time. It is what it is. Now, the other thing is since I'm not planning to plant that field until tomorrow, don't necessarily have to complete it tonight. And if I don't complete it tonight, I can get out with the Valtra and start mowing tomorrow. And start doing all the Valtra stuff. Whilst that finishes what it's doing. But now part of the thing, oops, turn the engine off because I'm silly. So part of the deal with playing multiple day seasons is, so long as I get crop in the ground sometime between the 1st and 4th of October, it counts as an October plant, and stage 1 growth will be seen on the 1st of November 1. So since there's just no time to plant the grass now in October, stage 1 growth is going to be December, and there's nothing I can do about it. And it doesn't matter if I plant on the on October 1 or November 1 or November 4. The effect is the same. Getting down to the short point in the field, so I'm turning around more than I am ploughing. Oh, that was down. Okay. Yes, I did watch episode 3 of Ahsoka, and I am still not really impressed with that series. The episode was like, go from point A to point B. Okay, fine. But I didn't feel the jeopardy. Oh, we've been jumped by 6 fighters. Okay. Yeah, that's not a problem. We can deal with it. And I just didn't feel. It wasn't like Star Wars: A New Hope, where they escape from the Death Star and they're getting chased by TIE fighters, and the music is building up, and it's, oh no, are we going to escape type of thing. And I just didn't feel it. Even of the new shows, things like The Mandalorian, when he was attacked by the spiders, yes, he's going to survive because he's the star of the show, and in a TV show, people generally don't die. But yes, the tension was there, the jeopardy felt like it was there. And that's the mark of good writing and good dialogue and good acting, is they're going to survive because they're the star of the show. But the events you're seeing is what you're hearing, what you're seeing is making you forget that whole thing. And I'm just not feeling it with this series. And I think, Andor did a good job with Andy Serkis's character, the guy who played Gollum in Lord of the Rings, or Caesar in the most recent, Planet of the Apes. But his character in Andor, there was no requirement that he survive, but because he wasn't, he's not a main character, he was just someone they met along the way. But you got so involved with the character, it's like, oh, I want him to survive, and you're invested in the whole situation. And still good. So it's. I don't think the writing's as good on this show. I don't think the acting is as good on this show. And I'm not even sure the music is that good. The thing is with music on shows is you're not supposed to notice it. It's almost supposed to create a subconscious emotion. But if the music is good, then it's creating all of the right emotions, and it generates feelings about what's going on. Oh, they're in danger. Oh yeah, it's safe and everybody's relaxing and it's a pretty floral scene or whatever. But it's always there in the background. It's not necessarily in your face. And so if you don't notice it, that's kind of a good thing. I can't say I noticed the music in Ahsoka, but it felt to me like it's probably not creating the ambience that should be created. Oh, I don't have to jump over to the Gabota. The time remaining on the job is shown on the vehicle inspector. It currently says 1 hour 16 minutes. I completely missed that. Am I done with this yet? Did I miss the message that said, hey, you're done with this? Let's go check. Oh, we're done. Let's collect that. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Okay, that's good. That's the store. That's the Valtra. Let's jump out the Valtra. I can't see a darn thing. Okay. Actually, if we're going to call it a day here, probably should go over to the Kubota and get that done. Let's check store sales, because that always moves on a bit during the day. Oh, look, new stuff. There's a big giant tree planter thing. Semi-trailer. It's not bad. A wrapper that... Oh, that does wrap small and mediums. I'm trying to avoid bales. And a hand mower. Oh, a mower windrower. Well, that's fancy. Not needing that. Okay, let's go send the worker home. Actually, let's check the weather. Oi, oi, oi. Okay, it's night time, it's night time, it's night time. It's going to rain at 7. Which probably means we can sleep till about 9 o'clock without any problems. And then we've got most of the rest of the day. So that's all a good thing. Okay. I am going to send you home. I'm going to wait till you turn around. Then I'm going to send you home. Now the reason I'm doing this is because the worker is... Are you going to get stuck there? Can you reverse? There you go. Okay, the worker is going to confuse the headland with this row because it's driving over the same piece of ground. So I want this at a point where there is no other course plotted. So we're now driving down here, we're safe. Turn that off. I can tell him to go home. We will turn the lights off, turn the engine off, turn the course play off. And come back to the yard and we will sleep till morning. So what did I say about 9 o'clock? Well, 9 o'clock's the latest I can sleep until. It's going to be a pain for Christmas. And good morning, Patchwork. Welcome to Saturday's stream. So here we are, nice and bright. Let's go check. Kind of handy having this grass field here. That's actually growing quite nice. That's ready to harvest, so we can cut that one. Nitrogen is okay. Bad. See, nitrogen on that field is too high. We can jump over this field. Whoop. This is grass ready to harvest. Ground is perfectly dry. That's nice. The pH is bad. We're going to have to come through here with the lime spreader at some point. But the nitrogen is a little bit high, but still registers as perfect. So let's get back to this guy and actually turn the engine off and back up a little. Go. Alrighty. So things are moving on. I do not need the seed tank on the front of this right this minute. So yeah, I don't know how important it is in Australia, but at least here in places like Michigan or in the UK or generally in Europe, there is a need to consider the quality of your soil. So if you've harvested and you don't put something into the ground root-wise to hold the soil in place, what can happen is when winter rains or snow comes, is that topsoil can get washed away, and you end up with losing some of your quality soil, and thus your what's the word for it? Your yields will slowly decrease as time goes by. One of these. There we go. We'll turn the tractor around. So we are now driving backwards. No, let's go backwards. Let's turn the conditioner on. Oh, conditioner's 10. There we go. I always forget that. And the problem is you can't silage fresh grass. It has to be conditioned. But that explains why I'm looking for a crop that I can plant in that maize field for the winter. And I've decided it can be grass. We can plant the grass there. We can harvest the grass in spring. It may not be a full growth of grass, but it should be sufficient enough that we can get